Hello, hello, and welcome to At Home with Lucas. So this is the finale. This is the last video of the LavAzza Espresso Roast. This is part 3, Espresso Sip Test. So in this video, we're going to be doing a specific espresso grind, which will then show us how these beans break down for espresso. Then we're going to take those espresso grinds and we're going to put them in a reusable K-cup. Yes, this is going to be so awesome. We're going to put them in the K-cup, throw them into the KMini, and then we're gonna see how they brew up, and then we're gonna do the smell/sip test. That's the favorite part of my day because I absolutely love coffee. I love tasting new coffee, and I just get, I'm so excited. And once we do the sip test, I'm gonna be able to tell you whether you should drink this daily, weekly, monthly, or never. And at the very end, we're gonna talk about all three, part 1, part 2, and 3. And we're gonna decide which one is actually the best for this bean. You know, do you wanna do a pour over, a French press, or an espresso grind? So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, let's take a look at this bad boy right quick. So we got the whole bean coffee, LavAzza 1895. Wow. I wonder what coffee was like back then. Espresso Italiano. 100% Arabica. I want that cup right there. I should buy it. All right. So because you're buying, if you buy a big bag, like a 2-pound bag, they always give you this sort of like, these are what you can use this giant bag for. And that's actually really fitting because that's what I'm gonna do. So why did I buy a 2-pound bag? Well, I bought a 2-pound bag so that I can do an espresso grind. Okay, the aroma that I'm getting right now is truly unbelievable. Wow. That is wowzers. Let me turn my flashlight on. All right. Whoa. All right. Yes, that is looking good. I'm looking at some good, there's one imperfection there, but for such a big bag, you're probably gonna expect some imperfections. Yeah, there's some more. Okay. So they're a lighter bean, so I can see why they're saying the intensity is 5. Not necessarily something you would expect for a espresso. So this is interesting. Normally, when you do espresso, you're looking at a darker roast. You're looking at more oil. I'm seeing a lot less oil on this, which is not making me that happy. And they're the standard small beans. So if you follow this channel enough, you'll know that the larger beans are not necessarily better, but there is obviously a difference between the size of the bean for some companies and the size of the bean for other companies, and I don't necessarily know. Starbucks seems to go full bean, full size, and they never buy these. Now, when I was roasting my own coffee, this is the size that I would get. I would end up with beans that were a little bit more like that size there when I was doing it myself. So I would buy the green coffee beans and I would roast them up, and that's kind of what I would get out of it. So so right off the bat, I'm gonna say that I don't necessarily like these beans visually. Now, of course, it all can change when you brew your cup. But visually, right off the bat, I'm saying that I don't really like those that much. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and put them to the grind test, and we will see how these things break down. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is turn your grinder to fine setting. You do not want to turn it too far because it will clog up your reusable K-cup, and that is a no. Do not want to do that. All right, let's get these bad boys poured into this burr grinder. If you've never seen this burr grinder before, I'm going to link it down below so you can go ahead and take a look at it on Amazon. It's a really good grinder. At first, I didn't know that it was any good, and it's just grown on me. And the more I use it, the more I realize it's actually quite a good grinder. It does exactly what it's said to do, grind up the beans. All right. Now we got these beans breaking down, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they break down in a fine grind. I've not put this grinder to fine ever. It's never done any sort of espresso grind. So I, like you, are really excited to see what it's going to look like when it fully breaks down. All right, so we got our Ziploc bag once again. If you watched the last video, I put the French press in a Ziploc bag also. That way I can keep it fresh, and mainly because I do not have 3 coffee Gator canisters to hold my coffee. So that is why they are in Ziploc bags. I will be getting 2 more canisters at some point so I can do multiple grinds and keep them nice and fresh. But for now, Ziploc it is. All right, let's take a closer look at these bad boys. They're looking good. Yeah, that is looking very good. You can see that they're all very finely broken down. I could have gone maybe 1 tick finer and it probably still would have been good and not clogged up the filter. But here we go. So if you do a giant bag, you can actually reload the bag with your ground coffee. So you can have multiple bags in there and then close the top, and it's not going to let any sunlight in, and it's going to keep your grounds fresh. So that is awesome. All right, let's go over to the coffee station. So this is really cool. You can actually put the reusable K-cup in the drawer. I was so excited about that because this thing just normally kind of floated around, didn't really have a home, but now I can just store it right there. And when I want a reusable K-cup or a K-cup, it's all in one spot. So that's very cool. All right, so we're going to be using our 1/8 scoop, which is basically 1 ounce. So as we know, 1 ounce of coffee is about 95 milligrams of caffeine. So I'm doing just shy of 1 ounce scoops. And now the real task is, how do I do this with one hand? How do I get this into the reusable filter? Bear with me, people. Bear with me. I'm going to get it. I thought I could go lefty, but then I realized I'm better with my right. All right, here we go. You just have to go for it. It's like a Band-Aid. You got to rip it right off. There we go. Who cares about the spillage? All right, so we're going to do almost 2 ounces. We're going to go just shy. Well, I guess I'm going a little bit less. So we'll go about 1 3/4 ounces. So that's a hefty amount of coffee. I mean, if you remember, you're looking at normal K-cups being 0.3 something ounces or 0.4 something ounces. So this is basically what, almost 4 K-cups right here, just in one shot. So I'm also going to link that right there. I'm going to link that reusable K-cup down below so you can go ahead and take a look at that too. But here we go. We're going to throw it into the K-mini. Hey, there's the Pete's coffee we love. Cool. So you got to pop this thing out. This is the most annoying part of this whole shebang. I really do not understand why we can't just throw the reusable K-cup into that and call it a day. But nope, they make you rip the whole thing out and throw in this whole new one. When I was using the solo fills, the solo fill would fit in there and there was no problem. So this is the one annoyance. It's kind of like you either use this all the time or you use the K-cup all the time, and it's kind of annoying to swap back and forth. But nonetheless, we are going to push. We're going to push through, people. We're pushing through. All right, we're going to get this brewed up. There we go, locked in tight. Throwing it on strong, of course. All right, so I'm thinking I'm going to go about 8 ounces of coffee. I probably should go more, but I am so paranoid that I'm going to get watered down coffee that I always go less than I think I need. So I'm going with 8 ounces, and I think that's going to work fine for me. It's one of those things where you throw in 8 ounces and it's either extremely strong or it's not strong enough. So it's kind of a, catch-22. All right, here we go. Look at that stream. That is a rich stream. Of course, this is the beginning. It will probably water down, but right there, that is looking solid, people. That is look, there's a little bit of crema around the edges right there. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah, it's still holding its color. It's looking rich. It's not looking too watery. Just as I say that, I'm seeing the water come through. It's getting watered down, people. It's getting watered down. But nonetheless, that still looks like a good cup of coffee right there. And that's really the result of having enough grounds in your K-cup to make a good cup of coffee. That's basically what's happening. All right, so we got our thermometer right here. So we're looking for something between 135 and 145. That is optimal taste temperature. So if it's over 145, the taste is going to be a lot less. It will be obviously hot, but the taste is going to be a lot less. And if it's below 135, the taste will also be less. So there's a fine window of time where you're going to get the best taste. All right, let's get into this. Let's give it the smell test. That's interesting. That is very interesting. The smell actually smells like a K-cup. Now that's weird, right? You're like, well, it's not a K-cup. It's a reusable K-cup, and it's not even the same grinds as you'd find in a K-cup necessarily. I mean, it's so weird because this is the third sip test, the third smell test I've done with the same exact coffee, and it literally doesn't even smell the same. That is so bizarre. All right, let's get into the sip test. It should be about 136 right now. So that should be optimal for perfect taste. Give it a little light blow. Oh, that's enjoyable. Wow. Okay. It's very smooth. It's not harsh. It seems to have been smoothed out in the KMini versus the French press and the pour over. They're a little bit more of a heavy hitter. This is a little bit lighter. Yeah, I would say that is a smooth, gentle cup of coffee right there. It definitely has all of the same flavor notes as past videos, but definitely has a different Keurig sort of taste to it. It's very interesting. It's definitely lighter. It's water. It has more water in it, but that's not really a bad thing. I think that's what adds to the smoothness and the enjoyment of it. Yeah, so this being part 3, I'm gonna crown the winner right now. And the winner is actually, dun dun dun, French press. French press is the winner. So if you buy this bag of coffee and you want to get the best taste for the coffee, go French press. This is number 2, pour over number 3. Now you're probably shocked because I'm such a pour over fan, but I would say this is great if you just want just a light cup of coffee and you don't really need that caffeine hit and you don't really want that like strong flavor. Go with this. This is very enjoyable. I could see myself drinking this throughout the day casually, not really needing it to just wake up and go. Yeah, that is very good. I don't really have words for the flavor notes because it's so enjoyable. It's like a well-balanced, you got that smoky, that earthy, that a little bit burnt, but not in a bad way. It's in a very good way. Yeah, so however much I put in, 2 scoops, so 2 ounces of ground coffee to 8 ounces of water, that might be the golden ratio right there for this. I'm not sure. But that is really enjoyable. I don't feel like I'm getting a big caffeine buzz or anything like that. And as it cools a little bit more, it's getting sweeter. So I'm getting a sweeter hit to it. Oh man, this is a strong second. I don't know. This could be almost equal to the French press, but I think the French press just has that overall hit that you really want from these beans, and I'm gonna stick with it, but I'm gonna say that the only downside, okay, let's talk about the downside of French press. The only downside is you are gonna get a little bit more particulates in your cup unless you use a French press that has like a really, really good filter system. I don't really know if mine is that good. I might actually buy a new one someday. And then I'll have a full review on that. I'll probably end up buying a new one just to see if I can get rid of some of that particulates, because that's the one thing that plagued my cups is like you get like to 1/4 of a cup left and it just has a lot of particulates. This is clean. And this is going to be closer to a pour over, but it will have particulates in the bottom, so you will have to avoid that last sip. But yeah, I'm going to give this a solid 4 stars. I'm going to say it is runner up to the French press. And there you go. That is the end of our saga. That's the end of our trilogy. Come back to this channel for more trilogies in the future. I'm doing this again, people. I'm going to do it again. All right, there you go. That's part 3 of the espresso roast. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely click that like button down below. Show me some love. And if you want to join the At Home family, hit that subscribe button. Every time I get a subscriber, I get a boost to make more and more videos. And it's because of you guys, I'm almost to 1K. I wake up daily and I'm so surprised at where I'm at. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you guys. You guys truly are gonna change my life and my family's life. And I can't say enough. Oh, so thankful. But as always, I thank you for watching each and every one of my videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.